Hey Crackpotters, it's about 10:15 at night, so a little bit dark out here. I'm going to show you the irrigation system that I set up for our garden. I'm going to talk quickly about what's going on here. So I set this up a couple days ago so that I could water off of one of our beautiful water trucks. I could water the entire garden with minimal input because the agreement between Mrs. Crackpot and Mr. Crackpot is that my extent of the garden effort would be watering. So I want to make this as painless as possible because I really don't like spending time in the garden. I'd much rather be in or fixing a machine. So I set this up so that my watering consists of hooking up the truck, opening some valves, and going for coffee or lunch or something. So this is dripline that I got from Rainbird, my local Rainbird dealer, which is Grounded Landscaping. And so there's over 1,000 feet of dripline in the garden here, and it goes and continues the catoniaceae we're trying to grow here, the few we got left over, and actually up by the house over there, there's some more that are on their own circuit as well, so that I can water everything at once. So this is a raised bed garden. The straw actually is about 1 foot deep, and the garden beds are higher than that, so there's actually over 1 foot of topsoil piled on itself, which gives lots of room for plants' roots to grow through nice and easily, is the theory, I think. My father-in-law and Mrs. Crackpot and Mrs. Crackpot-in-law did most of the work to set that up. I most just set the water. So okay, enough yabbering about that. So a lot of this stuff, sorry for the pump running, but I have to do more than one thing at once. So a lot of the plumbing stuff you're going to see here actually came off of a couple of old Flexicoil sprayers that we bought for parts for kind of this purpose. So the drip line needs very fine straining, like 120 mesh filters. So I couldn't get that in a large size filter, so we have a 50 mesh in this filter housing here, and then I have 100 meshes in these two filter housings here. They are smaller ones because, well, that's what I had. So most of what you see in this assembly is actually used parts. I did not have to buy very much new stuff. So once it comes through filtration, then we head into the manifold stack here. And on the very bottom we have a drain and an air fitting, so we can drain all the water out and then hook up compressed air to blow all the lines out so don't lose anything. The bottom valve is actually a garden hose connection right here, so you can hook garden hose up if you want to. The next line feeds the catoniaceae feed. The next line is the closest 5 rows, the next rows, the next rows, and the very last rows. So all the main feeds come off in 1-inch lines, and they go to a quick cheap irrigation tee here that we found at Restore for like $2 a piece, which is why I'm using them that way, and then through a 1/2-inch tee into each irrigation line, which feeds each row individually. So yes, there's quite a few sections here. The 1-inch main hose is kind of overkill, but that's what I had, so that's what I used. And by the time I get down to the end, the very end of the last hose, water has to travel through almost 200 feet of hose to get to the very tip of the drip line. So the larger the hose, the less line loss you're going to have for pressure, so I just thought I'll go with the bigger hose. Now at the ends of the hoses I did something really simple and lazy, and I just used electrical tape, pinched the hose over, and electrical taped it kind of shut so that it's easy to cut open in the spring so I can flush water through, because any little piece of dirt or scale that sits inside the line over the winter will plug up the metering orifices in the spring and cause a line to not drip properly. So every spring, just take the tape off, open up the end of the line, and let it bleed out when you run water through it. Yeah, there's really not too much more to show here, just kind of more of the same. It's not perfect. I need to get a little bit more hose. Literally used every single foot of the stuff that I bought. So I need to get some more hose because in areas around the trees here, where my wife has some flowers and stuff planted, some of the hoses are a bit short. They don't reach the very end of the row, like in this one here. So they don't quite reach all the way where they should, so we need to get some more hose and splice it in a little bit. But other than that, that is a really quick overview of how I water our garden very easily. There's being 1,000 feet, the drip line is on 12-inch spacing, and the metering orifices run 0.9 of a gallon per hour. They're pressure compensated, so anywhere from like 5 to 40 psi, it's the same volume that they meter out. So I just have a 3-inch gas pump on the truck idling away. 1,000 feet with a drip line, a drip every 12 inches means we're running about 1,000 gallons an hour, maybe a little bit less. So the 1,300 or 1,200 gallon tank on the truck is going to take about an hour and 15 minutes or so to pump out, which is long enough for a good lunch and waters the entire garden. So that's how we set this up. This is the first year with this garden in this location, first year with this watering system. We didn't get the garden in here until about a week and a half ago, which is really late, but it's been a dry and strange season, which has made life a little bit difficult. We've had lots of other things like, another child to deal with, and trying to get this garden set up was very labor intensive. So we'll see how things go. We don't expect fantastic results out of this, but maybe next year things will be a little bit better. Watering in this fashion allows me, if I want to, I could put some fertilizer in on the truck, and we could actually fertigate. Using the system here, we could actually add some fertilizer in if we so chose. So that's what we have set up here. Show me your guys' systems. If you have any questions about what we have set up here, feel free to let me know what your questions are, and I'll see if I can answer them. Thanks for watching.